This is going to be a quick demonstration of how to mount the French cleats for the catwall, and all you really need for this is a level and a screwdriver. I'm doing this on a scrap piece of drywall here so I can turn it around and show you what's going on later. So first off, this is only really meant to be mounted on conventional modern drywall. You also want to make sure that you're not drilling into a stud. I know that sounds kind of counterintuitive, but these drywall toggles are more than strong enough for what we're using them for. And they just won't drill into a stud properly. So to avoid the studs, you can either use the knocking test and just do it by sound, or you could use a stud finder. Once you find a nice spot for your cleats and make sure it's nice and level, you want to get those screws and put them in the holes and then tap them with the end of a hammer or whatever you got. And that will make a little mark on the wall where the drywall toggle is going to go. Then you're going to grab your metal drywall toggle and put the tip into the hole and give it some pressure and start twisting it into the hole to start your hole. And you keep digging like this until you get a nice hole started. Then I grab the screwdriver and screw it in until it's nice and snug, don't over tighten. After you get both those drywall toggles into the wall, you want to grab the French cleat, push up those screws through the back, and then you can kind of just feel when they slide into the holes from the drywall toggles. And now all you gotta do is screw them in. At this point, you can use a normal screwdriver. It's just going to take a long time. I would recommend cracking out a drill at this point if you have one. So now I'm going to flip this around so you can see what's actually going on behind the wall. Once you start screwing it in, it'll push out this little grabby thing and then start pulling it closer to the wall. And then once it finally does hit the wall, you'll definitely feel it when it just doesn't want to go anymore, and that's when you stop. The last important thing I want to go over is choosing a height between each level, and this can vary depending on your cat. I found that making each level about the same height as your cat, plus 2 inches, is about a good height difference. So for example, Dio is 14.5 inches tall, and so I added 2 more inches to that, and so I spaced all my platforms 16.5 inches between each level. And that's measuring from the top of the cleat to the top of the one below it. One last thing is that when you're putting up the wall cleats, don't put them right next to each other like mine are. Instead, you should actually leave a 12 to 18 inch gap between each of them, and this will give you a lot more space for interesting platform configurations later on. Thanks again for everyone who ordered a set, and if you have any questions or anything, just feel free to message me. Thanks!